What's going on, everybody? Spaceballs here. Welcome back to another Cookie Run Kingdom video. All right, everyone, today we're going to talk about the best PvE cookies in the game currently. A lot of you guys have loved my last video about PvE content, so I want to make another video about the best epics. But one thing before we do get into this video is the new code that they just released into the game. It's an amazing, awesome code. It gives you 3,000 gems and 3,000 costume summons. If you click on the little microphone button up here on the right-hand side on the top, this will show you the new code that just came into the game, and it is 30 million kingdom. Click on the coupons, type in your dev account, type in 30 million kingdom, and you will get 3,000 gems and 3,000 costume gotchas, or 2 temples, we should say. I don't even know what I just said. Awesome of them to give us this great reward. Really, really nice way to celebrate this by giving us 2 temples on the new gacha and 3,000 gems. We always love gems. But with no further ado, let's get into this one and let's talk about the best PvE cookies in the game, and we're also going to talk about ones that you absolutely 100% should not be using in PvE content. I'm going to try to make this as short and sweet as possible without getting too in depth into each thing. I will make a separate video in the future going over topping builds for each one of these cookies that we talk about here today. But overall, we're going to talk about the worst and the best epics for PvE content. So looking at my cookie box, you guys will see already on my top 2 lists, I am building very specific cookies, and this was to clear PvE content. Now, most of this video is going to be pointed towards once you get past regular campaign story, stage 8, going into stage 9. That's when it starts getting really tough. Same thing with dark campaign. Once you get into stage 7, stage 8, it starts getting really, really hard. Up until that point, you can make substitutions. You could use other cookies. You don't have to use such specific cookies to clear the content. But once you start getting to these harder stages, I promise you, you're going to start needing really specific cookies to start clearing these floors. And from what I'm reading, it's basically because you guys are building a lot of these PvE cookies and trying to use them in PvE content. The best way to do PvE content is to build your PvE team first, and then you could start building your PvE team on the side. This will make things so much easier for you, and you won't get stuck half as fast as you would if you were building all over the place. Because again, in Cookie Run Kingdom, there's so many roadblocks when it comes to XP jellies, leveling up your skills, maxing out your toppings. There's just so many hurdles you have to get through. And if you're building all sorts of different cookies for all different pieces of content, it's going to make the individual content so much harder for you to clear. So with that out of the way, before we get into the epics, let's talk about Sea Fairy Cookie, Hollyberry Cookie, and Pure Vanilla Cookie. The way I look at them is Hollyberry, best frontline tank in the game. Sea Fairy Cookie, best AoE damage dealer, stunner in the game, period. And Pure Vanilla is absolutely the best healer. There is really no replacements for them. If you have them, you should be using them. It doesn't matter what you're doing, whether it's the island, the cookie tray, any content in the game, arena, PvE. If you have those 3 cookies, you're most likely going to be using them. Because if you look at my Hollyberry Cookie, she's at the top of my list. And that's because she has higher base stats than any other epic I have, even the ones I have built currently. And that's what makes Ancients and Legendary so strong, outside of their skills just being OP strong as well. So there's not much more to say about those 3. If you have them, use them, of course. If not, there is plenty of awesome epics in the game that will help you clear all of the PvE stuff from start to finish, no problem. Now, if you look at my top 2 rows for the cookies that I'm currently building, you'll see all of these cookies are basically for PvE content, except for Mallow and Pumpkin Pie. Pumpkin Pie was able to max out. Mallow almost. I might be able to finish her before the banner ends. But both of these cookies were added to the game in this last month, and they both just ended up being really good in PvE content. I know I'm going to say PvE content a million times this video. Forgive me for that. It's just when I'm talking about it, I'm going to say it a lot. So forgive me now for saying it so many times, probably the 100th time I said it already. But both of these cookies are good in PvE and PvP. So building them is a really good option, because once you're done or get tired or stuck in the PvE, you can bring them over to your arena content as well. Now, the way I picked my cookies for clearing campaign is I looked at them and I said, okay, what are they going to bring to the team? And do they do AoE damage? Because I do think that AoE damage is very, very important when it comes to clearing normal and dark campaign. Espresso definitely is not PvP meta anymore, but that does not mean she's not one of the best cookies in the game currently to clear the campaign. I still think she's #1 on the list in my personal opinion. Her and Latte, I think, are basically the best 2 cookies to be using to clear normal and dark campaign, because their AoE damage and them together just dishes out so much damage, and they're so strong on the same team. I feel like I wouldn't be able to clear half the stages I'm clearing without the 2 of them together. They have just been an amazing combo for me. So if you're using Espresso, you want to put her in a full attack set. Same thing with Latte though, but Latte you want to have, I think, in a cooldown set. You can also put Latte in an attack set. I don't think it really matters. I just like Latte to have the cooldown set because I want her to circle around to her ability as quick as possible because she also silences. Not only does she do big damage, she silences the enemy as well. So you're basically getting two things out of her skill. So I like her to circle around to that as quick as possible. Espresso is basically my main damage dealer. And then Latte's there just to deal extra damage and silence the enemy as well. So Latte and Espresso, definitely the two best choices you can go for in my opinion. Now, again, Pumpkin Pie and Mallow Sauce, top picks when it comes to PvE content. And as far as runing goes for PvE, it basically comes down to attack sets, cooldown sets, HP sets. It really just depends on what unit you're building. If you're building a frontline damage unit, you want it to be tanky and have some damage. I don't really like crit rate sets too much. I'm not really a big fan of attack speed sets unless I'm doing arena and I'm building my speed crit comp. I mostly just use attack sets, cooldown sets, damage resistance set, and the only damage resistance set I only use is on my frontline tanks or Pumpkin Pie Cookie. Outside of that, I'm not really using damage res neither. I'm mostly just using attack, cooldown, and HP sets. I feel like that's the general basis when it comes to clearing most of the campaign content. And again, Pumpkin Pie, we have a damage resistance set and an attack set. I think I'm going to change Pumpkin Pie all the way to damage res because I think she'll just do better. We mostly want Pumpkin alive just to keep Pom Pom in play because Pom Pom's going to go in the front, soak up all the damage. So really the only job Pumpkin Pie is doing is putting Pom Pom out, so we don't really need to worry about her damage too much. It is nice to have the extra damage, but I don't think we need the extra damage, so it's better just to keep her alive as long as possible. So that's something I'll work with in the future. I've just been doing some testing. This set seems to work well as is. So far we got Espresso, Pumpkin, Latte, Mallow Sauce. Great picks. Now, as far as healer goes, you're either going to be using Herb Cookie or Parfait Cookie. If you don't have Pure Vanilla, of course, you're going to need to fill that gap. Parfait is better than Herb, but Herb is actually really good at what he does. So if your Herb is 5-starred or 4-starred and your Parfait is only 1-starred, Parfait does have the damage resistance, but Herb Cookie does clear all debuffs. So if you have a maxed Herb Cookie, plus we're getting a free one from the event, so you might even have a maxed one now, Herb Cookie will do the job fine, but if you don't have Herb Cookie, Parfait will do fine. There is other substitutions. I think Sparkling Cookie will also do the healing job fine, but the best pick overall would be Parfait Cookie followed by Herb Cookie. Frontline tanks, Dark Choco is really good, but he kind of falls off around stage 10 or 11. He starts dying too much. I even tried to put him in a super tanky build, but it just didn't work. I do love his AoE defense break, but I don't think for end game campaign content he's the best, but he's definitely good early on. So if you don't have any other options and you have Dark Choco, he is really good on the first couple stages or all the way up to stage 9 or 10. But he does fall off as time goes on, and he definitely falls off in dark mode. I know you wouldn't think that he falls off, but trust me, he does. I was using him all the way up to stage 7 or 8 in dark mode. And I know mine's only 2-starred, but he was just getting creamed. So unless I get him 3 or 4-starred, I just don't think he's that great. He's good. He's just not the best pick. Definitely a solid pick. But if you can change him out, you probably will. Purple Yam, not really that good because he's a frontline unit. And if you're using frontline unit and you're going to replace Hollyberry or something like a Mallow Sauce, you want them to be doing big damage or being able to take in the damage. And I don't think Purple Yam really does either of those. She has a single target hit. She can take a little bit of damage, but she's just really not that great. He or she is just a very niche cookie. I think I was saying she, but it's a he. He is a very niche cookie. I know I made you smile. Just to move this along a little bit, I'm going to talk about the cookies you 100% should not be using in PvE content at all. They're just arena cookies or endgame content or just very, very niche cookies. And that's going to be Pastry, Lilac, Mushroom, Twizzly, Chili, Sherbet Shark, Mushroom, and Moon Rabbit. Even Rye could be on this list as well. Red Velvet a little bit. But 100% you should not be using Moon Rabbit, Mushroom, Sherbet, Lilac, or Pastry Cookie. They're not good in PvE content. Do not use these cookies. I promise you, you will get so much farther if you just use a different cookie, guys. A lot of you guys are telling me that these cookies are in your team. I know you look at the top charts in the arena and you see these cookies there. Trust me, arena is so much different than PvE. They're two totally different elements. So some of these cookies that are top tier in the arena side of things are just not good enough when it comes to PvE. Take Sherbet Shark, for example. He's god awful in PvE content. I see so many people trying to use him in their team, and he's just so bad. You just should not be using him. Yes, he's a good cookie to build on the side for your endgame arena, But when it comes to clearing PvE in dark mode, he's not going to get the job done. He's just not good enough. So do not use him when it comes to the PvE side of things. And the same thing goes for Mushroom Cookie. Mushroom Cookie's really good in Guild War content, but he is terrible when it comes to the campaign side of things. So do not use him neither. He's not good. Trust me on it. You do not want to build Mushroom Cookie to clear the campaign stuff. It's just not going to work for you. Moon Rabbit, same exact thing. Don't build Moon Rabbit for PvE content. Snow Sugar Cookie, again, is very niche. So I'm going to say Snow Sugar Cookie, not good for PvE. Probably don't want to waste your resources. Because again, going back to just having such a limited amount of stuff to build these cookies, you really want to be building the right ones and not going all over the place. Almond Cookie, again, he's good in some teams because he has the damage link, but it's not a main cookie you should be building to clear campaign stuff. You're really just trying to build key cookies so you can clear as much campaign as possible. Red Velvet's a good cookie, but again, if you can build a different frontline unit, you absolutely should. Because Red Velvet's only going to take you so far, especially when it comes to your frontline unit. You have to really pick smart when it comes to that unit. Because if you're trying to replace Hollyberry Cookie, you want to make sure that frontline unit can dish out the damage, take the damage, and is bringing something to the table for the rest of your other cookies. Otherwise, you're just not getting enough use out of it. Madeline Cookie is actually a really good choice for PvE content. I know she kind of thought of the meta a bit, but I think when it comes to campaign stuff, she's a really, really good cookie. So if you have Madeline built, she's definitely a good one to throw in a team, and she will soak up that damage big time. I mean, her skill is nothing too crazy. She gets immunity, but she is a really, really solid choice for your frontline tank, especially if you don't have Hollyberry Cookie. Pomegranate's good if you don't have Parfait and Herb, just a good placeholder until you get Parfait or Herb. But Pomegranate, again, is another arena niche epic cookie. Rye Cookie and Fig Cookie, you're not going to use them probably anywhere in the game, late game, early game. Rye Cookie's good in some late game and some niche teams, but not a cookie you want to build right away. Same thing with Fig Cookie. Actually, Fig Cookie you probably don't want to ever build, to be honest. I was trying to look at Fig because I had the costume, but I just can't find a use for Fig Cookie. So I don't think you should be building Fig Cookie anytime soon. So we basically touched on every single cookie. Let's touch on the ones I don't have really, really quick, just so you guys can get a clear picture on which ones you should be building. Again, Pure Vanilla, Sea Fairy, if you have them, you should definitely be using them. I mean, that's the obvious thing, right? Raspberry Cookie is decent, but again, going back to that frontline spot, there's just better options to put there than Raspberry Cookie, being that she does have attack reduction, but the issue is she has a single target hit. I mean, I haven't used her myself because I don't have her, obviously, but from what I'm hearing, she's not the best choice for clearing dark stages past stage 8, and same thing with later stages in the campaign. She's just not good enough. She is a solid cookie, don't get me wrong, and if you have her and you don't have a better option, you could definitely probably get away with using her for a little bit, but again, she's just going to be a placeholder. Squid Ink is another one of those cookies that you shouldn't be building until later on in the game. Really good in arena stuff, but terrible in PvE because he's just a single target damage dealer. Yes, he does huge damage, but all he does is a single target damage hit, and that's it. Brings nothing else to the team. If you look at cookies like Malasauce and Pumpkin Pie, they could take the damage. Pumpkin Pie is bringing Pom Pom, which is doing an AoE hit, jumping back, pushing the unit back. Malasauce is doing AoE burn, taking in the damage. And then you have something like a Squid Ink that's only doing damage. Now, if you build a niche team for Squid Ink, it could work. But overall, I don't think Squid Ink is the best PvE cookie. Same thing with Mango. I don't see anybody using Mango in the PvE side of things, so I would stay away from it. Strawberry Crepe, same thing. If you look at Parfait's kit, she's doing 40% damage resistant, not maxed out, and she's doing a heal on all allies. We're getting 50% damage resistance here with the single hit, nothing else, especially due to the fact that Crepe is a frontline cookie. There's just way better choices out there. Black Raisin is a really good damage dealer. Again, just like Squid Ink Cookie, they do massive damage. But when it comes to PvE, you're looking for that AoE solid damage. And yes, Black Raisin could be good in some niche teams again. Or maybe if you use Squid Ink and Black Raisin in the same team, they could dish out some really good single target damage. And then if you're stuck on some stages like boss stages in campaign, you can bring Black Raisin to one-shot the boss or hit the boss really hard with Squid Ink Cookie in like a niche team. But overall, I just don't think Black Raisin is going to be the best choice for you to dump your XP jellies into. Cream Puff Cookie, nobody should be building Cream Puff Cookie. I hate to say it. Yes, this is from the Guild Gacha, but she is just not good enough. She has a heal by 40% and a single target hit. Look at Herb, look at Parfait, look at Mint Choco, Sparkling. There's just so many better healers in the game. Yes, she is a cute cookie, but she is just not good enough and not worth building. So don't build your Cream Puff Cookie. I know you got excited when you pulled her from your Guild Gacha, but she's just not worth it, so do not build your Cream Puff Cookie. Put her on the side until later on when you have enough resources to just mess around and build her. The issue is, I think she's the worst healer in the game currently for what she does. Sad to say because we put a lot of work into guild stuff, and then that being the reward kind of hurts a little bit, and I understand. but trust me, she's just not good enough. So to sum this all up for you guys and make this really, really simple in the last minute here, Pure Vanilla, best healer. Sea Fairy, best damage dealer / stunner. So best control and damage dealer. Sea Fairy's just so broken OP. Holly Berry, best frontline tank. And then when it comes to just flat out epics, I think Espresso, Latte, Malasauce, Pumpkin Pie, and Parfait, Herb Cookie, Madeleine Cookie. I don't know if we talked about Licorice Cookie. Licorice Cookie is actually really good for early on in the campaign stuff. He's another one like Dark Choco that kind of falls off as you get through it. Once your damage starts getting higher, he kind of loses his value. He definitely is a really good cookie, and he'll fill a spot in your team until you get something better. I just think as you get further on, he falls off just like Dark Choco. But definitely a really good option early on if you have him built or whatever the case is. He'll definitely fit in your team fine. He does have a defense buff, so he is good in that aspect. And he does summon servants, so he will pair with Pumpkin Pie Nice and the pin cushion, because that pin cushion will give them extra attack and all that stuff. So he would do good on a Pumpkin Pie team. Cookies you 100% don't want to use: Moon Rabbit, Sherbet Shark, Mushroom, Lilac, and Pastry. Don't use them in PvE. They're just not good enough. Tigger Lily Cookie, she could be good in some situations because she has a stun. But really, you should kind of be sticking to these main cookies that we talked about here today. Vampire is another really good option. He's a single target damage dealer, but he does self-heal. And I've actually used Vampire to solo quite a few bosses, so he'd be a good option as well. But if you're looking for that end-all be-all team, you're really looking for Espresso, Latte, and Parfait. And then after that, you can really put anything on the team that you want. Having that base, I promise you guys, is going to boost you through the campaign, no problem. You'll be clearing all the content before you know it, because those three just do such good work together. They synergize so well. Really, it's going to be up to you at the end of the day. I hope this clears things up for you and gets you building in the right direction. If you guys have anything to add to this or any questions or you need any help, please comment down below and let me know what you're thinking. I always answer your comments, and I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. Thank you guys so much for the support here on YouTube. We just hit 4,000 subs, and I cannot thank you enough for it. We will be starting the sub celebration soon. If you want to follow me on Twitch and Discord, those are always linked down below. We do 2 monthly giveaways on Discord, random giveaways on Twitch. If you want to be a part of the random giveaway that we do here on YouTube, all you do is sub to the channel, like, and comment on my past 10 videos, and that will automatically enter to the random giveaway. I truly do love each and every single one of you. I will see you in the next one. Spaceballs out. Peace.